Hello, and welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. Today's topic is a little controversial, to be honest. We are going to talk about spirituality as a fad. So we all have met those people who wear like 13 different necklaces with crystals, and they have all kinds of information on what these crystals do, but it's never something they have figured out themselves. It's always something they had to get from someone else. That person told me. I learned this from that psychic. I was told I was in a past life. Now that is totally fine. Like, I encourage you to please go out and get sessions with people and explore. But there comes a certain point when people are doing these things and wearing certain outfits and wearing certain jewelry, because it's become a fad. Spirituality, in some cultures, has become a fad. Talking to you Americans. I have noticed that this new age movement, the tarot and the cute little like crystal boxes, and all of that has become very, very popular. It has become something that we look up to as like, oh wow, that's so cool. And for that reason, some people get into the practices, and they're not actually practicing. Those people are just regurgitating information that they've heard from other people, and they're not putting those things to practice. So I'm calling those people out right now, like, hey, spirituality, and doing these practices, being Wiccan or using crystals or trying tarot or oracles, meditation, using affirmations, use them. Use them. They are there to be helpful. They are there to help you ascend. And the people who are professionals in those fields are there to help. But there comes a point when you should be doing these things on your own, when you should be doing them in private. And it should be private. I was the most in tune with myself and my guides and the universe in general when I was doing these things alone, in private, not expecting anyone to go, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And I can tell you, like, I got so much satisfaction and confirmation for myself that I was on the right path when practicing in private. And yes, you can share with people. Please find your tribe. That is so important, finding people who you can relate to. But there's a difference between being able to relate to somebody and being boastful and being like, oh yeah, I talked to this guru and he said da da da, and like that was so exactly what I needed to hear, and now I'm doing exactly what he said because that is exactly like that is what he told me, and I got to do that. So I hear it time and time again from clients that they take what exactly somebody they look up to, or a spiritual person or a practitioner, exactly word for word what that person said, and they take it as truth. So that is also a little bit of part of the spirituality as a fad, is like recognizing that not all people you go to for help are completely insightful. I'm not saying their information isn't honest or truthful, but sometimes we, as the channels, I'm talking about myself, the healer here, we can get in our own way. We can be channeling a message for both ourself and the client, and we can accidentally get in our own way. It is very possible that the message coming through isn't really for you. So if it doesn't resonate, leave it behind. Don't take it with you. Don't take everything that is said to you as truth. Take it with a grain of salt, as they say. It's important to learn discernment. Ask your body for a signal to let you know that something resonates. Ask your body for a signal to let you know that what that person is saying is truthful to you. When I hear something that is truthful to me, when I hear something that is speaking my truth, I get shivers down my body from the top of my head down to my toes. It goes like a wave from the top all the way to the bottom. That is my body's way of saying, this is truth for you. I can't fake that. There's nothing that can give me that sensation besides me coming into contact with my own truth. So ask your body to send you something. It might be a smell. Maybe you smell like patchouli or frankincense or your favorite flower or even maybe your favorite food. And it doesn't have to be around you. You can just sense it. Maybe you hear a ding dong in your head, or maybe your hands warm up or your heart feels good. Ask for your body to give you a signal. That way, when you're going out and you're running into people, especially if you're going to conventions or you're watching YouTube videos or you're exploring, you're seeking, I encourage that. Please do that. But ask your body for a way to know if the information that you're watching, you're listening to, you're receiving is beneficial to you. I can't tell you how many times I have paid for a class and I took my teacher's words as if they were made of gold. And I tried so hard for so many months to apply those to my everyday life. And I was doing the practice over and over and over again. And no matter how many times I did it, just did not stick. It did not sink in. The practice felt plastic. It didn't feel real. It wasn't stable. It just didn't work. It felt like I had to try too hard. Nothing should feel like you have to try. It should feel effortless and fun. It should feel like you're surfing on an energetic wave. It should just be. So a good way to step out of that fad energy, the way to step out of that, this is so cool, let me show you how cool this is to create your own little altar space. Create a space of spiritual recognition, recognize your own spiritual beliefs and as they are. So, no matter what belief system you're from, you can have like a little shrine or a little altar or even just like a corner where you can put things that mean something to you. So for me, when I first started, I had some feathers I had collected from my life and crystals that I had found that I liked. And I had a candle and I had some little figurines that meant something to me, a little fairy and a Pokemon, because I like Pokemon, so I put one of those on my altar. And that's where you can really kind of find things that really mean something to you. If you connect with something, even if it's not spiritual, even if it's, something that's totally off the wall, like I have a Pokemon guide. I'm not afraid to say it. I work with her all the time. And I don't think that there's any problem with that. If you want to work with something that isn't normally associated with belief systems, go ahead. Please explore and have fun. So go ahead, put your little stuffed animals or, little trinkets in your space. Make it look pretty. Just feel it out. Put your heart into it. Don't judge the process. Just have fun. And if for some reason you're like, I don't really want to make something with my hands, draw something. Draw it on a piece of paper. Paint it out if you want. Use tarot cards to make a little altar space. But the reason we make an altar is that you can see the reflection of your belief. You can see the reflection of your core values, your morals. What is making you dive deeper as a seeker? Why are you trying to ascend? Why are you trying to improve yourself? You can see all of the things that have influenced you to this moment out in front of you, reflecting back at you. And you can take into account that these are factors of your spiritual belief, of your core. And you can have respect and hold love and honor for these things. And taking that a step further, when you are in the practice a little longer, you can start calling in deities like angels or gods. You can do meditations for them. You can do rituals for them if you want to do that. You can do a medicine wheel. Altars are good because they really tie in all the belief systems. I mean, I have every little piece of different belief systems. I have a little Native American. I have a little Christian on my altar. I have fairies from the Celtic stuff. I have Pokemon from Japanese. I have an Australian little Aboriginal gourd thing. I have an ocelot from South America. So really you can pull from what calls to you in your heart, and place those things on your altar and just give them respect and give them love, and spend time, set an intention for what you're going to do at your altar. So for example, last night I sat in front of my altar. I just had a mirror. I did some mirror work. And I just said some affirmations of things I wanted to manifest for myself. I have blank. I am blank, right? And I held the mirror against my heart. And I just reflected on who I have become and how far I've come. And I had gratitude for that. And I just held space for that. And that's the kind of stuff you can do at your altar. You can do so many things. And I'll go more in depth, but I'm encouraging you guys to create a small sacred space. Or a medicine pouch with some items that mean something to you. The goal is that you recognize what is yours and what is someone else's. You take into account that these are things that mean something to you. And that is how you can separate the whole movement, this eccentricity of spiritual awakening, because so many people are into it. So many people are discovering themselves and ascending, and there's just a lot out there. And it can get very confusing, especially if you're an empath. You can get very bogged down and confused by what is yours and what is theirs. And it's important to kind of bring yourself back to your source, back to your foundation. Pick animals that mean something to you. Pick symbols that mean something to you. And just create a little medicine corner that you can collect your thoughts, that you can light some incense and have gratitude for who you are and where you are, and excitement for what you will discover on your path. So besides building an altar, another way to separate that fad mentality is to play. Okay, I know it sounds really silly, but so many people take spirituality way too seriously, way too seriously. It's important to remember, yes, we're, connecting with our guides and with the earth and with spirit and the universe to manifest what we want out of life. But we're always so focused on the destination and not the journey to get there. And it's really important that we tap into this present moment and suck as much nectar out of this moment as we can. Be the hummingbird and suck the nectar right on out of this moment. Find the joy there. Have some fun, play around, just get your hands dirty. Go dig in some dirt. Find some rocks. Just make some jokes. Don't be so worried about offending people. I mean, I'm not so worried today. I'm just going to let this one go out the way it is right now. I talked about Pokemon. A little embarrassing, but you know what? I want to be authentic with you guys. I want you to know who I am. And I just am who I am. And what's part of my practice is what's part of my practice. I have 1,000 crystals. And I'm cool with that. I talk to crystals. That's just who I am. So find out who you are. Play with yourself. Talk to some crystals. They're pretty fun friends to have. They can be there for you. They're really grounding because they came from the ground. But yeah, just remember to play. Just remember to play. And just look at all of the information that's out there as these people are experiencing their life and they're trying to make sense of all of it. And sometimes their truth isn't necessarily your truth. What works for that person won't necessarily work for you. That's not a bad thing, because I think self-discovery is a beautiful thing. I think being able to figure out what works for you is so important. So important. So, in regards to spirituality being a fad and finding yourself and finding what works for you, those people out there that are using spirituality as a way to get followers or to get people to like them, they're just really lost. And I'm sure whatever they are doing, they will find themselves. They will find their path. And I just want you guys, my rainbows that are rising, right? I want you guys to be able to discern for yourself what is your truth. I want you guys to be able to figure out, what's somebody's sales pitch and what's actually going to help you in your life. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a conscious expo and the entire place is just crawling with people who are using spiritual people to make money, and it makes me so sick sometimes, to know that they are fully aware of the deceit they are spreading. So if I can encourage you guys to do anything, set strong energetic boundaries, super strong energetic boundaries. Learn to discern, use your intuition, have your body tell you when you are getting information that is legitimate and truthful versus information that isn't. Is super important. And I know that if you put these things into practice, you won't get baited by people who are trying to take advantage of the community and of people who are just starting to reawaken to their abilities and their sense of self. And that's all I can hope for. I just hope you guys are able to continue on your path with happiness and self-discovery without getting swindled. Because it just takes one person to ruin an entire field for someone. You get swindled by one tarot reader, you never want to get a tarot reading again. You get swindled by one Reiki person, you never want to get a Reiki healing ever again. And not necessarily swindled, but if somebody says they know what they're doing and they don't do it right, or they're not doing it well, or their intentions just are not good, or they haven't practiced enough, they don't know how to ground their own energy, it can really ruin an experience. So just know that if you've had a bad experience, it's not always, the whole, it's not always the field. It could just be the practitioner that was not good. Give everything a couple chances and make sure your boundaries are in the right place. All right? So I know that was a lot to cover today. We kind of hopped around a bit. I hope you guys are able to follow along. And I just hope that when dealing with the fad element of spirituality, that you are able to stand in your power and know exactly who you are, and that you can see those the people who are a little bit more lost than you, and you can just shine your light and help them find their way. All right? Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so grateful for your company. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, we're all ascending together. Bye. Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbowraaja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today. Support Rainbows Rising podcast. Go. Join the Discord community. Check out the Patreon. Get some stickers, custom tarot cards. Check out the merch. The merch. You know you want to. Go connect with rainbowraaja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is rainbowraaja, your spirit guide, guiding you to your ascension.